flip it, we did it off the line. Stay in the kitchen, I'm never off of mine. And now I'm Kemp in his blind.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. If you're watching the video, you see Dante grooving to the intro song.
Who did that? Who made that video? That shit hard, nigga.
Shout out to Pappy for the hook that you guys listen to each week on this podcast. And shout out to Dante Spielberg for the editing skills in the video.
More to come. Deep in my bag this year.
Deep in his bag this year, man. It is episode 177 of Ball Don't Lie. It's our first postseason episode, man. We are getting closer to the finish line and the beginning of a new era in Ball Don't Lie podcasting, which we'll be announcing pretty soon. So stay tuned for what is next for each and every last one of you guys who listen to this podcast each and every week. But as usual, man, you know to follow me on Twitter, man. I'm your guy, Scott, at Barchair Scott on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow Dante at OctoberZonte on Twitter and Instagram, man. You can follow the Barber's Chair Network at Barber's Chair Net on Twitter and IG. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network. New summer sessions is out. If you follow the Barber's Chair Network, Patreon, you get 79 and Hollers a couple days earlier. So we just dropped a new one today. But if you were a Patreon subscriber, you got that shit on Saturday. So check all that out on there. We got a new episode of Summer Sessions this week. And actually, we're going to record Cinema with the guys after we're done with this. So there will be a new episode breaking down episode 4 of season 4 of Succession. NFL draft, when you be watching this, will be 9 days away, man. If you were in the Chicago area, Chicagoland area, and you were looking for a place to come watch the NFL draft, come on down to Haymarket Pub and Brewery in the West Loop area of downtown Chicago for the Barber's Chair Network NFL Draft Watch Party. It is Thursday, April 27th for night 1 of the NFL draft on 737 West Randolph Street. It is 5 p.m. to 10:30. Doors will open up around 4:30-ish. It's going to be hosted by our guy, JR Bang. And on the ones and twos will be the homegirls, the label. So check all of that out. You can RSVP. You need to RSVP for entry. RSVP at thebcnet.com. I've already got a lot of RSVPs already. Come on down. It doesn't matter if you're a Bears fan or, Viking fan, Cowboy fan, whoever. All fans are invited. Even you punk-ass Packer fans, we might have a small kid table for you, but everybody is invited for the draft party. Come out. I will be holding it down along with my brother at the NFL draft in Kansas City. We'll be holding it down, our second draft coverage for the Barbershop Network at 79th and Hallis. We're going to have a lot of stuff for you. We're going to do – I got my microphone, my reporter microphone. I'm going to be like Hits from the Streets. If you're an old nigga, exactly. Exactly. If I run into niggas in the hallway, I'm going to ask for a minute, 2 minutes of your time, man. So if you're an old nigga like me and Dante, remember Hits from the Street on BET. But you understand that reference. But we'll be down there, a lot of coverage. We're going to be doing daily podcasts, daily video content while we are in Kansas City. And shout out to everybody who tweeted me good barbecue recommendations. I will be going there when I get to Kansas City, see which ones I'm going to check out, because this is not fucking Vegas. So it's not like I can just walk down the strip and find me some shit to eat. I was eating good and drinking good every damn day in Vegas last year.
Yeah, I will say this, though. As a fellow, we both, been changing our diets, eating different. Don't go too crazy.
No, I'm not going to go too crazy.
When I went to the crib, I went back home. I tried eating. I'm finna get everything. Didn't go well. I'm going to leave it at that.
I know my limits. I had Chipotle last night, and let's just say, and then Chipotle is not bad, but let's just say I had a long night, so I know my limits.
No, I went to the crib. I had Portillo's, I had Heroes.
Oh, you was doing a full trip.
I was wilding. I had some pizza. I had a little bit of everything, G. So
honestly, you got to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go to the crib much. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do that every now and then. I don't be as pressed to have Heroes when I'm in Chicago anymore because we have that shit here. So I don't be as pressed to have it. But I'm always on my pizza. Like, I'm only going to be in Chicago for maybe a total of 14 hours when I'm, next week. But I will be having pizza in them little 14 hours because I live in a pizza desert. Even though, shout out to Johnny's Pizzeria in Venice. Nice, authentic New York-style pizza. There's not a lot of good pizza in Los Angeles, so I got to give a shout out to them.
I feel like every city got a New York pizza spot named fucking Johnny's.
Probably
because it's one here too, and they serve New York style pizza. That's crazy.
And it's like all of them ain't good. Like there used to be this one. I don't know if you seen the episode of Curb where Larry went to this. And I'm not gonna name the spot because I fuck with the dude on it. But the dude, it was Larry went to this pizza spot in Westwood, like by UCLA, and the nigga was tripping on him grabbing all the fucking
the free napkins.
All the napkins. That's real shit. Shout out my man Angelo. I said we're gonna shout out. I'm gonna shout out Angelo. Do not be, he be on it with them damn napkins, bro. Because when I worked in Westwood, when I worked at a FedEx on UCLA campus for like 2 years. When I first moved out, it was my first job out here, and I used to go there all the time after lunch. I mean, during lunch. And that nigga will be tripping on them napkins. So when I saw the episode, I'm like, damn, this is some real shit. And sometimes that's how I know he's a little older, because sometimes the pizza be hitting. Some days that motherfucker's a little burnt. You know what I'm saying? So
if he had a rough morning, that shit wasn't gonna be good. Like,
right. You know what I'm saying? But like I feel like, man, there's like that one area, and this is how you know it's like hella college students over there. Bro, we had so many fucking lunch choices. Like I used to go to a spot called Tommy's Tacos. If you're in Los Angeles, you know Tommy's Tacos. Tommy's Tacos, I used to go to all the time. They had a Chick-fil-A, nigga. They had a Korean barbecue spot over there. They had Five Guys California Pizza Kitchen. There was a fucking Irish pub. They had good bar food in there. There was a fucking Fat Burger. If you like weak shit like In-N-Out, it was over there. It was a whole bunch of stuff that Stan's Donuts that you really don't need to be eating. But
bro,
it was 8 years ago.
I'm saying nigga love Korean barbecue. I can't hold you. Like
Korean barbecue.
We're gonna go and do damage.
LA has good Korean barbecue.
Yeah, they really do.
Great.
The best I ever had,
K-Town. Yeah.
The best I ever had. Like second was K-Town, but I had some in the Bay. When I went to
the Bay has game, good. Yeah.
And I went to one spot in Oakland. That shit was crazy. Like it was good as fuck.
I gotta get to the Bay Area. I've been in Southern California for 8 years. I'm in my 9th year, and I have yet to be to the Bay. I gotta go there. Yeah. But we are here. You guys are not here to listen to us talk about our favorite food choices. You're here to talk about some basketball, and we're gonna get into that, man. Our first weekend of the 2023 playoffs, man. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr. He just won his first Defensive Player of the Year. They just announced it on Inside the NBA pregame show. Inside is the only studio show I still watch. Did you see Chuck and Ernie getting into yesterday? That shit had me fucking dying.
I missed it yesterday.
And because Ernie never get into it. It's always usually Chuck and Shaq. Chuck and Ernie was getting into it, man. It was so damn funny yesterday. But what's some of your before we get into an actual run day? I know you didn't watch that much. You were a little busy this weekend, but like from what you did see, what were some things that kind of stood out to you?
I mean, I saw most of the games, but I would say the competitiveness. That's what I really liked. There was some good games. Of course, some of them got out of hand at the end. I hated the injuries. But at the end of the day, we still got some very good games. Like we still got some very good games, and like I like how the young teams, the Kings in particular, they didn't come out and they weren't scared. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, with that type of energy in the building, their first playoff game in that long, you knew emotions were gonna be high. But I mean, they were able to ride that wave and then take care of business. And like a lot of times, the young teams they'll get that first punch and then they get their ass beat. But they really, they came strong. And you got to shout out Mike Brown again, who like we both think will win Coach of the Year. And I think, like I said, that's going to be a really good series. But overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it all, bro. I enjoyed it all.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Like one thing I love about playoffs in all sports, whether it's NBA, MLB, Stanley Cup playoffs, NFL, Super Wildcard weekend. The first weekend is always the best because it's when it's the most games. You know what I'm saying? You can just sit in your couch, watch some shits all day. So, I mean, it was pretty good. The only bad game was Minnesota and Denver. And as we said, if we got on air, that's going to be the NBA TV series. I think, it was some good basketball. It was like, it's a damn shame we had to go through 6 months of terrible regular season basketball to get to this. But one thing I have said about this low management era, if you want to call it, the playoffs have been some, outside of the weak-ass bubble, the playoffs have been some shit. Over these last couple years, I've been really, really entertained, and I feel like this isn't going to be any different. I think the number one thing that stood out to me, this shit is wide open, bro. This shit is wide the fuck open. You can sell me on a good 6 teams, maybe even 7 who I think could win the NBA championship. I know NBA fans or NBA detractors always say that, oh, there's no parity. That's the one thing the NFL has over the other leagues or Major League Baseball. There's parity. Well, nigga, I think we got parity. And I think parity in the NBA can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, because I feel like the NBA is real superstar driven. And I do think the threat of a dominant team is always something that people like to see. And the Warriors to that are still that to the extent. But it was interesting. It was a lot of good basketball. The injuries suck. I think that was something that, they need to ban the charge.
You hate that shit.
They got to ban the charge, bro.
Oh, you one of them niggas?
Yes, we got to ban the charge, bro. I'm sorry. First of all, and because like the Ja Morant injury, Giannis, those things, a lot of those came off what was supposed to be charges. You know what I'm saying? And,
yeah. This is my thing. I don't think we should ban it, but you got to alter the way you call it. Like, for example, if somebody's already in the air and you slide under, that's offensive. I mean, that's a foul on you. That's a block. That's a blocking foul every time. 10 out of 10. Like, if you standing there and somebody charge into you, then you can keep those charges. But like when somebody's airborne, I agree. We got to eliminate those because it's just silly. Even though Ja Morant just plays really reckless, and we can talk about that later. But
he does.
But at the end of the day, like you said, when somebody's going up like that, you don't want to undercut them because like these are large human beings out there. You don't want to do it to anybody. Like right. I damn near broke my jaw because I got undercut playing basketball outside on the concrete. So like there's no joke. So you definitely don't want to see that. So I feel you like airborne charges. Yeah, get that out of here. But you run into a motherfucker, that's a charge. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like it's just with the injuries, and we can get into our first topic, man. Ja Morant, game 1 of the Lakers and Grizzlies, which is a very anticipated series coming into this, a series that both of us picked the Lakers winning. Last week. What's the last week we recorded? I don't think we previewed that series. Or was that? I'm not gonna hold you. Did we preview that series? I don't think we did because the playing game hasn't started yet. But
yeah, the playing game hasn't started yet.
I picked I'm not gonna hold you. I picked the Lakers at 7, mainly because of no Steven Adams and no Brandon Clark, which I thought was gonna be a big issue. But the Lakers won game 1, 128-112. Anthony fucking Davis is one of the main stories here. He had 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 7 blocks. If I'm not mistaken, 7 blocks. The really wasn't that much, but I think the big thing was the others. Rui Hachimura put in 29 big points off the bench. The white boy Austin Reeves, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He was big off the bench. LeBron had a decent game, but you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a group effort here. But the story coming out of this is really not the Lakers win. It's the big injury that happened to Ja Morant. Ja Morant, as we just talked about a second ago, was going through the lane. It's real good defense played by Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is not at fault for this. And by the way, Anthony Davis survived a scare. I think everybody was like, oh, here we go again. Here this nigga go again. Even Stephen A was killing him at halftime. And this thing about AD injuries, man, I know we make jokes and shit, but he's not getting injured on purpose. Like, I feel like, the over the top shit we see on national media. I understand it's a show. You gotta do what you gotta do. Stephen A is an entertainer. You think this nigga's intentionally trying to get injured in the playoffs? Some people just have frail ass bodies. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for Anthony Davis' jokes. Let's be very clear. I'm not caping for a Chicago Packer fan, but he survived the scare. But what we saw from Ja Morant, Ja didn't have the best of games before he got hurt. He had 6 turnovers, only like 15, 16 points. He was not having the best game. Jaren Jackson had a monster game, but he goes to the lane and he falls directly. And like I cringed when I watched it in real time because like he just hit and his hand like landed all like first flat down on the court. Now anybody
fingers first.
Yeah, fingers first. Anybody who's walked on the NBA court, that shit is very hard. There's nothing soft about that court. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know. Like we know we watch it on TV, it's like it's a hard floor. But when you actually stand on a court and
when you step on the hardwood,
this is a little flex. When you step on the hardwood, that motherfucker is very hard. Pause.
When your shoes hit that parquet, nigga, it's just a different feeling.
What Ross said, we on that wood. It's different. So I know, like anything, you can fall off like your bike, and if your hand hit the concrete like that, you finna have a sore ass hand. So I knew immediately as that happened, he was out. Now, Woj came out today and said that this is gonna go up to the minute. It's gonna be a game time decision, but it's serious doubt that Ja Morant is going to be able to play game 2. Now, the good thing for the Grizzlies is they probably got the best backup point guard in basketball in Tyus Jones. And I feel like if it wasn't for Steven Adams, he's great. Somebody who I think the Bulls should get, and we'll get into them sorry niggas at the end of the show. Tyus, like if it wasn't for Steven Jackson and Brandon Clark, I wouldn't be that concerned for the Grizzlies. But without them three, I think this goes from Lakers can win this series, the Lakers should win this series. What do you think about the injury and like the impact it had?
Absolutely, because you see how the game, flipped. Even though they still put up a good fight. At the end of the day, when you lose your superstar, or like potentially lose him, we don't know how long he's gonna be out. But when you lose your superstar, that takes a lot out of you. So, did they give us a full diagnosis yet? Yeah,
they said it was. They didn't say exactly what the injury was, but the X-rays came clean. There was no that he didn't need an MRI, and he's not in the cast. So
okay. So this is just gonna go off pain tolerance. Yeah. So knowing Ja, he gonna pop 2 perks and get to it.
I don't think this is my thing. I don't think he's gonna play game 2, but I think they're gonna give him
game 3. He's gonna play.
Game 3 he'll play, and then that'll be almost a week in between. Which just remind me they're gonna be moving us the fuck out of there on Saturday for game 4. Like I hate double headers of Staples Center, nigga. You get after the interview, all right, we gotta clean this shit up. So I know they're gonna be moving us up out of there for the Lakers.
They're gonna hit y'all in the third quarter. Hey, pack your bags up. It's Laker time.
The owners of this arena are coming, but
get all this shit up. Let's go. Our boy Kurt gonna be unplugging shit.
He gonna be unplugging shit. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I think it's it's something where it's gonna be a blow. I do think he's gonna miss game 2, but I think if they can, I feel like the Grizzlies have enough to hold the fort at least for a little bit. And the Lakers, we all know the Lakers. I watched the Lakers. Only team I've watched more the Lakers this year was the Bulls. These niggas can't trick off. They almost tricked off that play-in game.
They will give you a game.
Yeah,
they will give you a game, and there's certainly, I think, like you said, even with the AD scare, like that's still something that could possibly happen. That's something that could, definitely level playing fields even more. But I think at the end of the day, this Laker team is really good. That's why I picked them to win it all. I know you said I was tweaking, but
you definitely still tweaking, but
but I think this team is really good. NG is, obviously now people automatically gonna be like, oh, well, Ja ain't 100%. But I mean, that's the type of shit that happens when teams win championships. They get lucky breaks. Bro. Things break their way, the ball bounces their way. So as long as LeBron stays healthy, I said Hachimura went crazy. He had a game. And then, like I said, you're talking about a team that's just much more versatile defensively now, and they get buckets. Like, shout out to Austin Reeves. Really, really surprised. Like what Shaq says, I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game.
With your game.
Like he's been going crazy all season. I think that's somebody who a lot of people just thought it was the hype off the LeBron meme and shit. But if you actually been watching the Lakers,
AR can shoot, man.
Yeah, he's consistently got better. Like he can shoot, but what I like is now, man. Yes, he can go get his own bucket. Yeah. Like I like that development where you see him going out there getting to it. Like you saw it in spurts last year, but he's been much more consistent this season. And so that's a bonus. This is a really good basketball team. I think as long as hands in his pockets don't fuck it up, Darvin Ham, then they're gonna be okay. But I think the Lakers can go out. Like I said, I think they're gonna win it all. But they're gonna definitely take care of the Grizzlies. Probably in like 5, if we're being honest.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of Laker basketball. They're gonna trick off at least 2. Like it's
at least 2.
At least 2. They're gonna trick off some. They just don't have in them to be like they don't have no killer in it. What Logan say? You have to be a killer.
Yeah. This is one of those moments where you realize Bron can't really flip that switch no more.
Right, exactly.
We're not gonna get 0 dark 30 Bron. He come out here and just get him 40 every night. Like
and Bron knows that himself. He was deferring a lot in that second half. He knows. He knows, and but honestly, that was the point of bringing in Anthony Davis, so LeBron doesn't have to do what he used to do. And I think the thing is, the Lakers can make it to the final. They're not winning. Like it would take. I just can't see them beating anybody in the East, and I still don't think they could beat KC, not KC, but Phoenix or
Yo, I was thinking about the draft.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the draft. KC, Phoenix, or Golden State, Denver, like there's some teams I still don't think just because of just how they are that I just don't see. Like Rui Hachimura is not gonna play that way every night, but Austin Reeves can play like this every night. That's the thing. Like you said, the shooting is one thing. Most white boys, if you're in the league, you know how you have a jump shot. Like that's the only reason you're in the league. So the jump shot is not what surprises or what I like. It's the playmaking ability. He plays solid defense. He can come off a screen and murder you. They have no answers for him off the screen yesterday. And then on top of all of that, the number one thing for this Lakers team, why they've been so mediocre the last 2 years, is they're getting back to that 2020 style defense. They're locking up, and that's exactly what's going to help them in each of these rounds they try to get through, man. But I think the series is still going to be interesting. I'm definitely still confident in my Lakers in 7 pick, and it might be lower, probably will be 6 now. But I'm not ready to count the Grizzlies out yet. It's a long series, and that's one thing I hate about. One thing I did this week on yesterday. Well, I did on Saturday. I didn't. On Sunday, I didn't tweet anything. Well, I didn't tweet anything all day on Sunday, but especially not during the games. It's so much more peaceful. I don't need to be reading these hot takes right after the game, anything over. It's fucking annoying, man. But I think that this is something where game 2 is a must win though. If you're the Grizzlies, you need to find some way to win this game before heading. You know, you don't want to come to the Lakers to Staples down 0-2.
Yeah, I'm about to say because the energy in Staples is going to be through the roof.
It's going to be through the roof.
Back in the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
What that nigga Mike say? The ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, the ceiling is the roof. The ceiling is the roof.
It's gonna be silly in Staples. So if you come back down 0-2, that's no good. Even if Ja play, that's no good.
Yeah, and yeah. You said I'm glad you said that because like it's the first full capacity Laker playoff game in 10 years. The last game. Like the 2020 playoffs, obviously was all through the bubble. It was first full cup in 2021. It was only like I think LA was 10% capacity, and then when the Clippers made the Western Conference Finals, and by that time it was 50% capacity because I went to one of them games. But so it hasn't been full capacity at Staples Center for a Laker game in 10 fucking years. So that is going to be insane, especially if they come 2-0. It's gonna be busting up in there. So if you're the Grizzlies, you got to win on Wednesday night, man. And by the way, when you're listening to this. This is on Wednesday. This recording is on Monday, so we're not talking about game 2 of Warriors Kings yet, because that's tonight. But let's get to the other Los Angeles team, the team that I cover, the Los Angeles Clippers. Game 1 against the Phoenix Suns last night. This has been one of the most exciting series coming into the most highly anticipated series. This is a series I picked Phoenix in 7 games, but I do think this is going to be a long series, and I think last night is the reason I think it's going to be a long series. I think depth-wise, they have a deeper team. Now, Paul George is out for the rest of the series, so the only way you will see PG is if they advance to the next round. Phoenix is good, and I picked Phoenix come out the West. I'm not budging off that yet, but there was a couple signs that couple things that concerned me as somebody who picked Phoenix to come out the West. The depth on this team is not that good. Monty Williams ran an 11-man rotation. That's even too much for Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr type thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't run 11-man. He ran 11-man because he didn't have nobody to trust. And this is also a very small sample size of them having Kevin Durant. Last night was only the 9th game of them having KD because he got hurt for a month basically. And I feel like, they got to find a way to get him more shots. Now, a lot of that did have to do with Kawhi Leonard being Kawhi Leonard, but once he didn't have any shot attempts in the first quarter. He didn't have any in the third quarter, and he only had like 2 in the second. The fourth. That type of shit can't happen. And that's the main concern for me. But on the Clippers side, Kawhi Leonard, I think it's been a long time since we forgot. Playoff Kawhi is a different nigga. Now, I'm not expecting him to drop 40 points every night damn near like he did yesterday, but if he plays as well as he did and with the depth that the Clippers have, this series is going to get really, really interesting.
Yeah, bro. I think, and shout out to Russ. I think Russ got to get into it with fans more often, because he had like 8, 9, and 10 or some shit. He
was 3 for 19.
Yeah, I mean, that's Russ. Yeah, he was 8, 9. He had 8, 9, and 11 rebounds.
And a game-ending block on Devin Booker.
Yeah, who instead of paying attention is bitching about a foul and Russ throws the ball off of him. And
Yeah.
he's just an idiot. But I agree with you. I think, like you said, that the depth, we talked about this when they made the trade. Like, the depth was going to be a concern for this team. I wonder if Jay Crowder would have tried to, pull a 180, change her heart and stay. He ended up in Milwaukee, so he's with a championship contender.
It was a money thing for him. I think he just wasn't fucking with the niggas in Phoenix.
Yeah. Which makes sense, but my whole thing is a new ownership group, so I would have at least made a call. But that's just
Phoenix ain't number Milwaukee with palm trees. Let's be real about that.
Yeah, no, I can't say that. I'm taking.
You fuck with Arizona?
Of course not. But I will say this: Phoenix it's enough stuff to do. You got every major sport. You got golf, and it's hot year round.
That's what it is. Golf. That's what stood out there.
Boy, if I lived in Phoenix, I'd be out there.
We got Dante Woods over here.
I need a suntan sponsorship. I'll be out there. But no, I agree though. I think Phoenix, the depth is going to be a concern for them going forward. Obviously, KD is going to be KD. He did what he had a good game. It wasn't your typical double. Yeah. It wasn't your KD go crazy. He said 27, 11, and 9. It went nuts. Christopher Paul.
I pray for times like this. I pray for the times that even his little weak ass jumper he had ain't hitting. He wasn't hitting none of them shits yesterday. I'm talking about point blank, nobody on him. It's to the point they leaving Chris Paul open.
When the midi ain't falling for CP.
Family Man Records. You hear that sound? That's Kyrie and that Rafiki from Lion King stick coming down to Phoenix.
It is time.
They gonna kick this nigga out the car like Jazz, nigga. You keep playing around. But yeah, that's a big issue, man. If you need Chris, and I would say this about Clifford Paul, he still influences other parts of the game. You know what I'm saying? When he still had plays,
of course.
He gotta make that midi, dog. That's gonna be an issue if he's not making that consistently.
Yeah, that was his bread and butter for years. Him in that pick and roll, like, cause imagine if you got even a semblance of old Chris Paul and the type of sets they can run, and just the different, even like the offense is ridiculous as we see, but like if he was at his prime, not even at his peak, bro. Like what we got 2 years ago, the Chris Paul we got 2
years ago.
Yeah, when they went to
2021.
Yeah. But we'll see how that goes. But I was kind of disappointed in Chris. It's one of those the writings on the wall type of situations where like he's consistently just dropped. But Father Time does. He's undefeated. He's still a great all-time point guard, but they're gonna need more from Chris right now. Yeah. But like I agree with you. This is gonna be a great series. Kawhi, I think, like you said, sometimes we forget because Kawhi has quietly been hooping for.
He's been the best player in the NBA for about a month and a half.
Yeah, so he's been going nuts. You hate to see him lose a sidekick, but
and this thing, but this is one thing I always said last year about the trade that brought Rocco and Norman Powell over. This team has tremendous depth. They have tremendous depth, and that's not to say PG's not going to be missed. PG is going to be missed. There was a point in time in that fourth quarter where I feel like Norman Powell should have been on the court because they didn't have really anybody who get their own bucket consistently, and that's something that Norm can do well. And I actually forgot Norman Powell was on that 2019 Raptors team that won the championship. I don't know why that slipped my mind, but he was on that fucking roster. I just thought about that the other day. But and they're just great contributions. T. Lue is a good coach. I remember when I first learned about Terrence Mann a couple years ago. I was a big fan. Then T-Man started tripping last year to the point when we'd be at the games, we would have bets. Be me, Pavy, and my homie Cam. We'd be yelling. We'd be making bets. Like, I bet you that nigga don't score 15 points today. Like, to the point where, like, he's finally found because of some consistency. He was big. You got big Eric Gordon moments. So, if there's one thing I think is going to make this a long series, it's the depth the Clippers have. But I've also covered. The Clippers can't trick some shit off. And with Russ, you live by the Russ, you die by the Russ. But the one thing I'll say that Russ is, Ty Lue gives him his freedom. Ty Lue trusts him no matter the outcome. Any other coach would took that nigga out as bad as he was offensively. But that's going to help them. But Phoenix, I think, they're going to be fine. All the problems that we just listed, when you have a team that is offensively potent as they are with their bigger stars, they're going to be in a series. But Phoenix is playing with fire. And if it's a close game, Kawhi is gonna do what Kawhi does, and that's just something where all the Clippers got to do is make it close to the end of the game, and Kawhi can deliver them to the promised land. I think that's gonna be the biggest factor in this series. Yeah, so let's go to the East real quick. A lot of the East series I don't really care for, but this one series is probably the most interesting out of it. That is Cavs Knicks. This is real old school Eastern Conference basketball here. Now the Knicks did get a big win. How many points did our guy Jalen Brunson have? Was it like 30 something?
Yeah, 27 points on 24 shots.
Okay, he did pretty good. He had some clutch baskets at the end. Julius Randle was good. Josh Hart in his first playoff game was good, but some bad news for the Knicks. Josh Hart will be missing game 2 as he has a sprained ankle. That's going to be a big blow for him. To me, the thing that stood out to me was the Cavs had a real deer in the headlights look. You could tell it was a lot of them guys' first playoff games. Like nobody out there looked confident outside of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, Tibbs was probably in there grinning ear to ear because this was his type. This was his type of basketball.
Yep.
Like I said, Jalen Brunson took 24 shots. Only took 4 3-pointers. Yep. So a whole lot of mid range. He only took 4. He took 4 3-pointers, and he made 1. But Julius Randle, of course, he took 10 of them bitches.
Yeah, of course.
It's interesting, man. It's not a lot of shots left for RJ Barrett. He played 31 minutes. Has 7 points.
There don't need to be any more shots left for RJ Barrett.
No, I'm just saying it's interesting because he was developing. He was developing. He was playing a little better, but no. I agree with you. This series is going to be very interesting.
Nobody won't see them bullshit.
But them
we'll see them bullshit corner threes.
No, yeah, that's. I mean, if he can make them, he got to knock them down. That's the thing. He got to knock those shits down. He don't.
You've never seen him. You've never seen RJ Barrett hit 2 consecutive threes. You've never seen that shit all season.
No. He can't do it. Can't give it to you.
And Knicks fans really said that RJ for Zach LaVine was a fair trade. Run my face.
People are dumb. But no. The Cavs, they just look like you said. They were that young team that's like, oh shit, we really in the playoffs. And then the Garden was rocking. That's what we talked about. Staples, like certain buildings in the NBA are just iconic. And like the playoffs, that energy that's gonna come, you can't match.
Well, they was at home.
Wait, which one? Hold on.
You said the Garden. The Cavs was at home.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah.
They better get that shit together before they go to the Garden.
and there we go. They better get that shit together before they get in the Garden, bro. Because
it's Friday night Knicks in New York. The weather's been nice.
It's gonna be fucking foolish. It's gonna be foolish.
It's gonna be a zoo up in there on Friday.
Yeah. You know what threw me off?
What?
Didn't the Cavs wear white jerseys?
Yeah, they did.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, I don't like the Cavs jerseys, period. I like the black joints. That's about it. The black and burgundy, but it's just like I feel like Donovan Mitchell was there like, nigga, this is like my 6th playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got this big goof Rudy Gobert on my team anymore. Nigga, this is my time. Like he went on a little hot streak. But then this nigga just started gunning. And I'm like, bruh, stop shooting threes. So it's like, if he would have got a little help, I think the biggest factor in this game, which was funny because it's one of the things that Cleveland was supposed to be one of their advantages, was the fucking rebounding. Yeah. They got out rebounded like a motherfucker on the offensive glass. I don't know what the hell Jared Allen and Evan Mobley was doing, but they was just standing there letting everybody else on the Knicks get the rebound. So that stuff's got to clean up. Hopefully, my man Darius Garland realized, okay, you got your first playoff game under your belt. Now play like you got some goddamn sense because Donovan Mitchell needs help.
Gee, 16 threes.
Yeah, this is a 1990s.
Donovan Mitchell shot 16
threes.
Oh,
wait, he shot 16 threes?
Himself, not the team, nigga. Him.
Tripping. Yeah.
And he hit 6. He shot 37%. So I mean,
it didn't feel like he hit as many as he did, but because there was a time when he realized, like Thanos, I have to do this shit myself. And that nigga was just going 1-on-5. And that's the issue with the Cavs is even when players do play well, they play a lot of go to hell ball. Yeah, and that's something where I feel like that's why I picked the Knicks because the Knicks play better team ball. But no Josh Hart is gonna be that's gonna be bad for the Knicks.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough because, like you said, he's one of those. He is. He's they brought him over at the deadline, and he's really gave him a spark. And Josh Hart is a solid NBA pro, and that's why a lot of times when people Well, I know it's a little bit off topic, but when they were scouts were comparing Bronny to Josh Hart and Drew Holiday and shit like that, I'm like, that's a good, like, that's nothing wrong with that. No,
You can be one of them,
those
especially if you can be Drew, nigga.
Two very well paid people. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, I think, like you said, losing Josh, that's gonna be trash. But I think Julius Randle will have a better game than he had in game 1. He had 19. So that's a light 19 for him.
And I'll give him a pass. He's come off injury. First time he's played in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'll give him a pass on that. But I think this is going to be a long series. I think this one is far from over. We know how funny the Knicks are come playoff times. And we all know Donovan Mitchell in the Garden. We talk about the one thing. He going to have one. There's one thing. I always say this. Knicks fans get so mad at me when I say this. The Garden is not famous for anything Knick related. The Garden is famous for what other niggas do at the Garden. That's what the Garden is famous for. And so we know, especially knowing that, he's from the New York area. His mom works with the Mets. They did not want to give up. Now, granted, Danny Ainge was trying to fuck him, but they did not give up more than they thought they were going to have to get Donovan Mitchell. Like, no, we're going to chill and we're going to sign Jalen Brunson. Athletes are what's called psychotic. That nigga remembers that. He's going to go for it. And I think it'll be a good series. They gotta clean some stuff on. But game 1 in all these series are just filler games. You're getting your feet wet, seeing what it's about. But I think this is gonna be a good series, man. Just quick note on one other Eastern Conference series. The only reason we're bringing this up is because the best player in the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo, got hurt. I only watched like a couple minutes of that game, so I left out the house for a minute, came back, and it was halftime. And I didn't see this nigga Giannis playing the third quarter. I was like, what the fuck? So he messes back up. Good thing for the Bucks. Nothing serious. It didn't look like it was serious to me. Woj says that they are optimistic that he will play game 2 on Wednesday. I'm not really. I say that he took advantage. It was typical playoff Jimmy Butler, 37 points. I don't know what it is about this nigga. He just takes to another level come playoff time. 37 points. Now, they suffered a loss, too. Tyler Hero has a broken hand. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. So that's a blow for them. But my question for you is, do you think the Miami can make this a longer series? Do you think they can win one more game? Or even with a 70% Giannis, they probably won't win another game?
I think they can possibly get one more at home because they aren't a bad team. We're gonna have to have other players, step up and take on probably bigger roles than they wanted them to. You losing Tyler Hero, I wonder if he hasn't been getting much burn, but I wonder if Duncan Robinson gets more run.
He played a little bit.
He got yesterday. Yeah, but Kevin Love gave him 18. Shout out to K Love. Kyle Lowry wasn't on shit.
Kyle Lowry need to go home and be a fan. Another member of Family Man Records.
Yes, it was a nice run. He really should have. I don't want to say retired. I thought they won the ring.
No, he got to retire. He should have retired.
He should have went out on top. Stayed in Toronto. He gonna go up there and get him a statue. He be in a Ring of Fame.
A Kyle Lowry statue is nasty work, by the way, but he will be getting one.
They're gonna do some wild shit. Have like him and DeMar,
hugging and some shit. Yeah,
wild shit. But no, Kyle Lowry, like you said, he ain't gonna do shit. But you would like to get some more out of him. You're gonna have multiple people step up because Jimmy can't do it by himself, and I think this is one thing we talk about every year with the Heat is that Jimmy runs out of gas. Like it ain't a knock on him, and it's not the same as a James Harden where we say he run out of gas and he just don't show up. Jimmy gonna give you his all. He gonna put up a fight, but then that shit from the bubble when we saw him leaned over the scores table, they know that the meme that everybody uses, but that's Jimmy Butler in a nutshell.
Porter, I think Jimmy said it himself that Porter really took that 3 at the end of game 7 last year. He said, man, I ain't had nothing else. I was like, take that, let's win. Because he's like, I ain't had nothing else. I had nothing else for no overtime.
Yeah, he probably would have collapsed out there on the court.
Yeah. And we know as Bulls fans, I'm a day one card carrying Jimmy Butler stan. I am not afraid to admit it. I'm a big Jimmy guy. Having said all of that, no, the Giannis injury isn't serious. He'll be back playing out there again. Giannis, this African ass nigga, he gonna play. This a nigga, and yeah, he's African nigga. He just grew up in Greece, but nigga, you are Nigerian, okay? But Giannis will be fine. And this is the thing about the Bucks. They have a deep team. That's why they're my pick to win the entire NBA championship. They had a chance to win that game last night, even without Giannis on the court. And Giannis also, remember 2 years ago, remember that injury against Atlanta in the Eastern Conference Finals? It looked like he tore his ACL.
We thought he was done.
We thought he was done. He came back and it looked like nothing happened. So just a back injury, he'll probably get treatment on it, but I think he'll be fine. It wouldn't shock me if Miami won another game, but I'm going to say this. I still think it's a gentleman's sweep. I had it as a regular sweep, but I'm going to say it's a gentleman's sweep. I think the Bucks are going to do what they're going to do. And this Heat team just isn't as good as they were last year. If the Bulls even had some type of basketball IQ, they wouldn't have won on Friday. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it's a different basketball team than last year. And the Tyler Hero loss is massive for Miami. And I think that's going to be too big of a hole for them to overcome, man. But only with the East, there's really nothing else to talk about the East. Brooklyn put as much in competitive as we thought they're going to be because they ain't got no star. I love Mikal Bridges. I've been a Mikal Bridges fan before, since he was Villanova. I am a big fan of his. I wish he was on the Bulls. They just don't have enough. And one thing I'll say about that Atlanta-Boston series, Jason Tatum, when the fuck are you going to I feel like you are the Kendall Roy of NBA superstars. Where is the killer? I need the killer. We shouldn't be having Jaylen Brown out there with a mask, cut hand, and he got more dog than you, bro. I need to see more. First game back in the playoffs, you got 17 points this nigga scored. I need more. More.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, the Hawks do have some, versatile defenders, a couple of them, but they play
man. He Jason Tatum, bro. Come on.
I would say at the end of the day, you are Jason Tatum. You are supposed to, I don't even want to say exert your will, but at the same time,
but you should.
Yeah. He had a decent game, but at the end of the day, like you said, but this is something we've talked about for years.
We've been talking about it like a motherfucker for a year. Me, you, and Pavi were not fooled last year.
And I must say, it's been about 2 years, damn near 3, where it's like that's Jaylen Brown team. When shit get hot, when they need somebody, they go to Jaylen. Don't get me wrong, Jason always has his games. He gets buckets, bro. It is what it is. We know that. But the problem is, like you said, when shit get tight, when they they need, even though they won this game, but you saw throughout the game, they were Jaylen Brown, both took 23 shots, but it's one of those things where you can't just look at the box score. If you watch the game and saw the way that each of them played, you'd be like, yeah, you had a good game, but it's like, nah.
I forgot the niggas on the court a lot of times.
You can give me more than that. You can give me more.
And wasn't enough impact, man. Wasn't enough impact. They need more from that. They're not going to need it to be Atlanta. They got more than enough to be Atlanta. But
they want to get to the chip, yeah.
They're going to have to play Philly in the next round, all right? They're going to have to play Philly. This is a real make-or-break season for Philly. Jason Tatum can't be playing the way he's playing right now if they think they're going to beat the Sixers. So that's all I'm going to say about them. I want to talk about this. I think it's a big storyline this week. In my opinion, the most exciting series in the playoffs right now is the Sacramento Kings versus the Golden State Warriors. To me, it's a classic example of the old guard versus the new guard. Crazy atmosphere on Saturday. Crazy atmosphere. I'm looking forward to watching game 2 tonight. They came out one massive game by De'Aaron Fox, massive game by Malik Monk. Trey Lyles, he did some big things in the third quarter when the Warriors took a 10-point lead. First win in 17 years for them, all that. Before we get into the actual, series breakdown, what do you think this would mean for the future if, let's just say, even with the Lakers Grizzlies series, and I know that's a little different now because we don't know what Ja's going to be like, but what do you think it would mean for the future of the NBA of the old guards like LeBron and Steph get knocked out from these up-and-coming, young bucks?
Nothing yet. I think more so just a signal for something that we already know. I think, especially in Steph's case, the Warriors can really, they're going to have to finesse it because, the way they spent their money, but they can make some moves and be right back in this. Steph is still Steph. So I'm not as concerned if they were to lose. As for Bron and, that squad, yeah, I feel like if they were to lose, they get knocked off by the Grizzlies, even with a banged up Ja Morant, then you really start to question things. Again, like you said, you want this team to come. You probably want to run this team back get them a full year together to play. Add where you can possibly. I know people who had that Kyrie dream. You can let that die. They just don't have the bread for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, we saw them trade for Russ. So
the thing is, they don't have Russ. That was a trade though. Kyrie's a free agent.
Yeah, true. I'm tripping. Yeah, you're very
once
right.
They traded Russ, they gave up that option because the money doesn't come off.
The money don't match.
Yeah.
So
enjoy D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, but I think more, and also I think it's a positive for the NBA because you have your young stars performing on the biggest stage against your brightest stars. So it was one thing if you have, two young stars going at it. Don't get me wrong, that's good. Like we grew up, remember when Vince and AI went at it.
That is that might be my second favorite playoff series ever.
It was amazing. Like they got mad at Vince because he went to his graduation.
I was mad at him too, but I was an irrational seventh grader. As an adult, I'm like, that had nothing to do. He had a good look at the end of Game 7. It just missed. But when I was a massive Vince Carter fan. I was like 14. I was so goddamn mad at Vince for going there. I was like, fuck his fucking graduation.
No, Vince is that dude. But,
Vince is that dude.
No, don't get me wrong, those type of series are good, but also I think it's great to have your young stars competing on, like I said, on the biggest stage and showing out. So it would be good for the league. I don't think it would be a true changing of the guard or anything like that, but I do think it would be something where, if you do league, you can take that and market that. They're not like Major League Baseball where the NBA, they always have 2 or 3 quote unquote culture teams that sneak in there and we're gonna market them. They doing this for the underdog and blah blah blah. Like the Hawks when they were the culture team and got their ass smacked. But I
don't think nobody outside of Atlanta, Georgia believes in that team.
No. They didn't believe here. They didn't believe here. Like they don't believe in the Hawks. But no, this is a UGA city, bro. And we ain't even in Athens. But no, they don't believe in the Hawks. But you get that shit, and the league will push it. So I think that's something that the NBA would love. And I think I don't, like I told you, we made our picks. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I think if it did happen, that's something that it would be good for basketball.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen either. I'm not worried at all about the Warriors losing Game 1. I mean, it's just it's a team, and when you were as decorated as this team is, it's Game 1, bro. Like these niggas, and they had a chance. You know what I'm saying? They had a chance to still win that fucking game. Steph, even though he did the one-hander, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker still almost went in. I thought Andrew Wiggins looked really good for somebody who ain't played basketball in 2 months. He hasn't even been working out. And it's just something to me where everybody's like, well, Sabonis didn't play well. I just think that's going to be Sabonis' series. I mean, he's going up against Draymond Green and Kevon Looney, who are really good defenders. Dre had an amazing game. I think the Warriors are fine. Even if the Warriors lose Game 2, I think the Warriors are fine. I won't panic about the Warriors they lose on. And it's because and this is no disrespect to the Kings, they're a young team, man. Like, yeah, you can win at home. But I said this I'm not going to hold you. I'm going to say it here. I think there's going to be a game in this series that the Kings win by like 30 points. But I also think there's going to be a game in this series where the Warriors win by 30 points. The problem is, we know the Warriors can bounce back from a shellacking like that. Remember they lost by damn 50 to the Grizzlies last year when Draymond was doing the whip that trick and shit?
Because he knew they were going to go home and beat their ass.
Exactly. Now, can the Kings come back and be something as their shellac? These niggas are Superman at Chase Center. So I'm not worried about that. I think it's going to be a good series. And I think for the NBA, long term, yes, it'll be good for the league. But let's be very clear about something. If you think that Adam Silver, ABC, ESPN, Disney in general, TNT are rooting for a Grizzlies King series when we potentially might get Steph versus LeBron for the last time, you are out of your fucking mind. Everybody wants that one last series.
Yeah, and Bomani broke it down. And like a lot of people don't even take this type of stuff into consideration, but like a part of it is the TV contracts. Yeah, smaller markets mean less eyes on it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's national TV, it's the playoffs. Like it's the playoffs, but at the same time, you didn't
those stay up for Denver, Minnesota last night.
Exactly. Like exactly. You want your larger markets tapped in outside of just the diehard fans. You want the casuals to be like, oh, like prime example. Most people who don't watch basketball every night are gonna come watch LeBron versus Steph. He said we
100%.
haven't seen that since they were in the finals. And
I'll go even one better. LeBron Steph is the biggest one-on-one rivalry in the NBA since Bird and Magic. I will be very, very spot on with that. Think about it. Mike didn't have a rival in the 90s. Like I'm talking about like singles, like actual players going at it. It has to be Bird and Magic.
I mean, we actually went at it for titles.
Yeah, like they met in the finals 4 times. They had that playing game 2 years ago. This will be like the 6th time meeting each other.
Yeah, Bron only beat them once, right?
Bron beat them twice if you include the playing game. If we doing all postseason.
No, I'm talking about for a championship.
Oh, only beat them once for the championship.
I'm strictly talking titles.
Just for championship, yeah. 2016, that's it.
Okay.
2016, that's
I was
it.
just double checking.
But I do think for the future league, it'll be fun. Like, there's a lot of people who Saturday night was their first time watching Kings basketball this year. I saw somebody tweet, "Oh, damn, the Kings this nice." Like, niggas ain't like, especially if you're like, if you're not on West Coast time, you're not standing up to watch the goddamn Sacramento Kings. Yeah. Like,
and also I've been told that they have the best arena in the NBA.
Who, the Kings?
They said hands down. They said that's the best arena in the NBA. Like it's one of those. Like I love stadiums, and this, like I said, kind of off topic, but I love stadiums where like the court or the field or whatever is below street level.
Yeah,
like that bitch is like down in a pit, and they said that's how this is. So they say it's
well, Staples is like that.
Yeah, I mean a lot of them are, but like when you get that real bold feel, like that bitch be rumbling. Like it's
because the best crowds are in cities where there's nothing to do, or they only have one.
They get that college. They get that college
atmosphere. Like that crowd would never look like that in Miami.
Yeah,
OKC be cocaine to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's too much other things to do. So I think it would be like cool from like a storyline. Like you said, I don't think I think when I said last dance for the Warriors, it's with this core. I don't think Draymond's coming back.
Yeah.
But we know Bob Myers is a great GM. Joe Lacob and Peter Gruber don't give a fuck about spending money. They can retool. As long as you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, the way Wiggins been playing, it's not the last dance for them, but for the Lakers and LeBron. Because I truly feel like LeBron knows this is probably his last legit shot at the championship. And I think the Lakers know that too. And I think that's why they're going to go super hard for Bron. That would be a cool storyline. But let's be real. Everybody wants Steph versus LeBron one last time. Like, we all 100%. Want that shit. 100%, man. Let's wrap this up. And we're going to, unfortunately, talk about our favorite basketball team. These Chicago Bulls, who are now almost a quarter of a century since the last time these niggas won an NBA championship. In fact, these niggas have only won, I think, 3 or 4 postseason series since Michael Jordan kept his big ass suits out of Unison. That was 2007 when they swept the Miami Heat. That was 2011 when they beat the Pacers in the first round, and then they beat the Atlanta Hawks in the second round. Who forgets that great 45-point D Rose game in Phillips Arena? They won in 2013 when they beat the Brooklyn Nets in 7 games. Actually, it's 5. And then they beat the Milwaukee Bucks in 2015. So that was only 5 playoff wins since Michael Jordan has left this franchise. Now, the Bulls had a pretty exciting first play-in game against the Toronto Raptors. Showed a lot of fight coming back from 19 down. Zach actually looked good, but in true Bulls fashion, they lose on Friday, which they had a chance of winning. And I was at a bar watching this. By the way, shout out. Next time you come to LA, nigga, we go on this Jameson pub in fucking Culver City. They got 5 same old shots.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, nigga. Yes, exactly. So me and Pat was in there on Friday watching the game. And as soon as I think Jimmy got an and when I was there, this game's over. So then we had AK had his, end of season press conference. And it's like the more I hear AK talk, the more and more he sounds like Rick Hahn. The more and more he sounds like Kenny Williams. There's no coincidence because these niggas both employed by the same old man. Now, let's take off our fan hats for a minute because I know we're upset and we can say that, nothing's going to happen again. But what is a realistic way for the Bulls to pivot into a direction? Because as AK said, they're not going to rebuild. Really can't rebuild. These niggas tried to rebuild 3 years in a row and got 7-7-7. They have the same percentage chance of getting Victor Wembanyama as they had when they got Derrick Rose in 2008. What do you think the Bulls go from here?
I think depending on where they draft pick lands, not the Bulls, but the team I'm about to say, you got to call Portland and ask about Dame. Like if you can, like if Dame is unhappy and wants to get out of there, because we've talked about for years trying to position themselves to get a disgruntled star, and with Dame, I think this is the off season where if we do see him move, I think we may see something shake. But I think you call them, see if we can give him DeMar, Vooch, and some. Do we got picks again?
Well, Vooch is a free agent. Well, that could be a sign and trade if they want to do that.
Sign and trade so the money, sign and trade to make sure the money match up. Because I know Dame on the Supermax, ain't he?
Yeah, he's on the Supermax.
So yeah. So, but like something like that. But I think you have to. Unfortunately, and I hate to say it because I think he is really good. You got to move DeMar. If Zach's your guy, Zach has to be the guy. And there's too many times that he becomes passive. And I think part of that is because of DeMar's game. Like a lot of people, we said they couldn't play together, but they need a facilitator. And if we don't get a point guard, then you have to move DeMar. Now, if you can get a point guard in there, then I think that's your opportunity to actually see the maximum potential out of this roster. But what point guard are you going to bring in? That's the question.
Fred VanVleet is a free agent. Tyus Jones should be a free agent. Those are two options right there.
Okay. Do you think they would actually come to Chicago? Well,
if
you think Fred from Illinois, but we keep saying if they I say from Illinois, didn't I? I ain't say Chicago, did I?
No, he's from Rockville. Yeah. I mean, all the Bulls gonna pay, and this goes back to every Reinsdorf-led organization. If you're a White Sox fan, this is the same fucking shit. Like
exactly,
it's the same shit. And to me, the problem here with the Bulls, there's not a pat like the Dame thing. I would put all my chips in for Dame Lillard, 100%. There's not a nigga on this roster that I would not trade for Dame Lillard. I would try to keep Zach, and I'm pretty sure if Dame wants to come here, he would want Zach here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do think there's a path for that. My whole thing with the Bulls, the niggas need shooters, bro. Like, I don't think there's outside of getting Dame, if you take away Dame, because as a Bulls fan, and tell this nigga actually get a superstar, I believe it when I see it. So if we put the Dame thing to the side, there's no path for them to make the championship. There's a path for them to be what Cleveland is or what New York is. If they just get an actual point guard and they surround these niggas with shooters. Like they keep playing 1990s basketball.
Yeah.
In 2023, even if you look at the playoffs, even the weakest niggas got like 5 good 3-point shooters. That's the main problem. And I know, not to cut you off, I know there's a lot of Bulls fans out there who are mad at AK, and I'm not trying to absolve AK of any responsibility, but you got to understand this. And I say this as a fan of two teams this nigga owns. It's not the GM, it's the owner. I don't know if AK is a good GM. I honestly don't know if Rick Hahn is a good GM. What are they allowed to do is the question.
At the same time, we can't really say that about the Bulls because they spend money. Like the White Sox don't spend shit. I'm with you on that. But
the Bulls have to spend money if they have a fucking salary cap. But like,
so I mean, so in that case, he's really handcuffed. And like, don't get me wrong, I will agree. We always do the bullshit half-ass effort when it comes to getting a true superstar.
Yeah.
So even with the Dame situation, it would be interesting to see how they would finesse that. But I think overall, like the money thing isn't really an issue for me. It's more so getting people to come play here. And so with a Van Vliet, what does he want his role to be? Because if he comes here, you still deferring to Zach. You feel me? And if you don't make,
Fred VanVleet thinks he's gonna be a number one anywhere.
We've seen people try to go to like to places where they maximize their role as well as they
have fun in Charlotte, nigga.
Hey, he might be a Hornet, bro. Wait, so I said so. Melo will be back. Hopefully,
Melo got them ball bones, man. We don't know.
I said hopefully, man, because he fractured his foot on some nut shit.
Yeah, he missed almost all of last season. He only played like 20-something games. If that.
But it's crazy. But we talk about the miles they put on their bodies, G.
Yeah.
With these injuries, but the Bulls, no, you got to get a point. Either like I said, okay, I said DeMar first. That was my first. It was a big splash. Tried to trade for Dame, but realistically, you may have to go after Van Vliet. You let Vooch walk, so you gonna have to bring another big man.
I'm pretty confident saying Vooch is gonna come. I don't take much from AK's press conference because a lot of that shit is GM speak. Yeah. But two things I took from it is he's bringing Vooch back. Even though Vooch said this, I thought this was interesting. What Vooch said was much different from what AK said. And I think that kind of goes with you saying about people want to play in Chicago. Vooch was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to Chicago. I'm hitting the market though." Like basically, he was like, "Nigga, I'm not giving a discount to nobody. Nigga, pay me."
Yeah.
And I thought Vooch had a pretty good year this year. You know, I think a lot of people get upset about the trade. I'm still not as mad about the trade as anybody else because of the timing what the Bulls needed at the time. But I think Vooch is gonna come back. I think they're gonna re-sign Kobe. Kobe had a really good year. I'm not mad at that, but more than anything, these niggas need shooters. And I'm with you. DeMar got to go. I like DeMar. DeMar guy. DeMar has to go for two reasons. One, so Zach ain't deferring to nobody. And two, and I know you think he's Trevor Reeves or whatever, and I'm not here to gas Patrick Williams.
Oh, my God.
I'm not here to gas him up. But you need more shot attempts for Pat. And that's 20 shot attempts that will be off the table if DeMar is gone. So, and I do feel like off the way that DeMar has played the last 2 seasons, 2 All-Star appearances, he's played very well. There will be a team out there that's willing to trade him, whether it's Dame or anybody else. So there's a lot. And I feel like AK, we're going to see. I feel like we're going to see what they're made of, AK and Emmy this year. I'm not expecting shit. The same way I didn't expect nothing with the White Sox. But there's a path because, you know, this shit. And one thing I'll say about this, and we're going to wrap it up here. Bulls fans, I would say this, like I said last week, Bulls fans don't deserve this. Bulls fans, to me, are the most rational out of all the Chicago sports fans. That's a very low bar. But
bars in hell.
The bars in hell. Bears fans do not know the game of football. Cub fans think they're the Yankees. And White Sox fans are the most woe is me fucking fan base on planet Earth. So yeah, I think that's the difference when, but Bulls fans are loyal, and you know the Bulls deserve more. There's no reason why the Bulls, and the legendary status they had, they're still a top seller everywhere in the league. Like when they come to all these other cities, whether it's a Laker game or a Clipper game, there's a large contingent of Bulls fans there because the Bulls are a massive brand name just off the Jordan era. There's no reason why this team shouldn't be still competing for championships, and I think it's not going to happen until, and I'm not, wishing death on nobody, but until that nigga Jerry Reinsdorf go, I'm not expecting much from 2 of the teams I root for, man. But it's a real line draw a line in the sand as all season for the Bulls, and I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do, man. But that's all we got for y'all today. Episode 177 Ball Don't Lie. We'll be back next week to break down, even more playoff basketball, man. So, to follow us on Twitter at BarberChair Scott, at October's Own Tay. Follow the Barbershop Network at Barbershop Net on Twitter and Instagram. If you are in the Chicago area, you're looking for a place to watch the NFL draft, come on down to the Barbershop Net NFL Draft Watch Party for night 1 of the NFL Draft next Thursday, April 27th. Haymarket Pub and Brewery on 737 West Randolph Street. That is the West Loop area of downtown Chicago. Doors open at 5. We're going on to 10:30. We're going to have some raffles. We're going to have the pool tables are set up. They've got great beer. They've got amazing beer, actually, at Haymarket Pub and Brewery. Come out, fuck with us. We got food, everything, hosted by J.R. Bang. On the 1s and 2s will be the Homegirls, the label. You must RSVP to get in. RSVP at thebcnet.com. And, man, subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbershop Network. And we'll holler at y'all next week, man. We out.